Uh, Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Imaginary Boys. I am one of the two hosts, Mr. Habanero. Don't mind Mr. Lettuce, who is laughing in the corner because the number one host was too busy looking at his phone while trying to do the introduction. So, hello, everybody. How are you doing? How are you doing, Mr. Lettuce?
Oh, I'm Superman. Welcome back.
Yeah, man.
We've missed you.
Yeah. You know that it's not, a proper episode of me coming back unless we do an awkward cold opening, am I right?
Right. I mean, I told you I was starting.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's all good, man. I just, briefly looked at my phone for a second, and I'm like, oh, he stopped talking. Oh, it's recording!
Because that's how I do.
I need to crack this beer open right now and start drinking. Goodness gracious. It's going to be a good episode. I can feel it. Bought a really nice 6-pack of beer, and I've been enjoying it nice and slow these last few days.
Oh, that IPA that you're drinking on the stream?
Yeah, it's super yummy.
I mean, sure.
I'm starting to get the impression from a lot of people lately that people don't like IPAs. I thought that they were popular for a good long period of time, and I even heard I remember talking. There was a girl I was dating. Literally a year and a half ago. And she made this big stink about IPAs because she liked IPAs, which I was like, oh yeah, I'm a big IPA fan and I can get down hanging out with a girl who's a big fan of IPAs. But she would go on this big spiel about how she would say, oh, well, people don't really know IPAs. They were overpopularized by the hipster movement. And I'm just like, I mean, I just think they taste good. And she's like, yeah, but nobody really knows what IPAs are. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, it's only been everywhere now because it's the popular thing to do, and all the hipsters drink them now. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I just like how they taste. This is, it's not like I'm trying to, drink them as a status thing. I just think they taste delicious. It's just my favorite kind of beer. But nowadays...
I mean, IPAs are basically hipster light beers.
I can't see. The thing is, I can't, for example, Bud Light or Miller Light or anything like that. I can't drink those. I think they're disgusting. I'm a person that eats and drinks based on his personal tastes, and just the whole entire goddamn rest of my life, it's my taste with music, my taste with movies, my taste with TV shows, my taste with video games, my taste with food, and my taste with beer. It just so happens that I can't help but live that hipster lifestyle.
I mean, that's fine. But you do know gargling after a blowjob is how they make light beer.
Ugh.
So I'm pretty sure there's some extra steps to make an IPA.
I just I like IPAs because they're I like that bitter flavor. I like it to really hit me in the face really hard when I drink a beer, and IPAs do that the best. When I drink a beer, huh?
I like a good stout. It's got a nice bitter taste, but it doesn't hit you with it doesn't stay bitter,
right?
And it doesn't stay with my problem with IPAs. I don't really like the taste of beer that much. But my problem with the IPAs is that they do some really weird aftertaste things for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I hear that that's most of the time the problem that most people have with drinking IPAs and stuff like that is it stays in their mouth longer than they're comfortable with,
Yeah.
I do like a good stout every once in a while. But I just I have an attraction to bitter flavors. I prefer bitter flavors over sweet flavors. So I love a really hoppy beer. I like it to just be really strong, really hoppy. And for me personally, I've never had an issue where I feel like a flavor when it comes to beer overstays its welcome. I can't. There was a beer that I remember having a long time ago that was like on. It was like it was a technically a beer, but it was practically it should have been labeled as like a malt beverage. You know, um, it was so. I remember because I had it when I was definitely under the age, and they bought it special for me because I was trying to like I was underage and they were like, "Hey, like what kind of beer do you like?" And these were some older dudes I was hanging out and I was like, "Oh, I love like really strong bitter beer. Like I love really strong stuff." And they're like, "Oh, you like really bitter stuff, huh?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." And they're like, "Okay, well, we think we got a beer for you." And they went out and bought this beer. It was like a 40 ounce, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called. And it was the most sour and bitter like beverage I have ever tasted in my life. Like, one of the ways that I would partially describe it is the flavor made me feel like I was licking carpet. Like, do you know what I mean when I say that? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I literally have never in my entire life had a beer more bitter than that beer, and it was so strong. I was doing everything I could to stomach it, and I eventually just my body was just like, "Bro, you're licking carpet in beverage form. This is coming out of you right now," and I just threw it up everywhere, and I was so drunk because it was like a malt beverage. Like I mean, it was to some degree a beer, but it had some obscenely high ABV, alcohol by volume, and it had an even more absurdly high ABU, which is alcoholic bitter units. I think that's what, or something like that. Um, I'll never forget that. But I mean, I can't like. I mean, the point is that like, if I were to ever be handed that beer again, I don't think I could do it just based on that like memory. So there is a point for me personally where it's like, yeah, I've had a bitter beverage that was too bitter for me, but I really do enjoy IPAs because they're a lot stronger. So,
Yeah.
do you prefer like because you mentioned stouts? Is that like what you prefer? Or do you prefer other
If
kinds of
I'm
beer?
yeah, if I'm drinking beer,
Mm-hmm.
it's typically Guinness.
Oh, that's delicious.
I find I could stomach Guinness probably the best out of everything.
Yeah, the beer milkshake.
Yeah.
It's delicious. Bread in a glass.
Bread smoothie.
There you go, man. There you go. God, oh man, a Guinness actually does sound good. I every once in a while go out and like whenever I buy Guinness, because I like it's very rare when I do it, but I always make sure to buy the nitro cans. You ever had those?
No. No, I've I've never seen Guinness in a can.
Really?
Yeah, I've only ever seen it in a bottle.
Oh.
Buy 6 packs in the of a can of bottles in the grocery store.
Mm-hmm. Those are pretty
Oh,
good. Like I've had those too.
probably I don't go alcohol shopping at convenience stores.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, every time I've ever bought nitro Guinness, it's always in like a supermarket. Like I've never found. I don't think I've ever bought it in a like a convenience store or anything like that. Usually, like for example, like my neighborhood marketplace sells it, and I only buy it on rare occasions because it's very expensive. And basically, what it is they're tall cans of Guinness, but they have like a little nitrous ball inside of the can, floating at the top. And when you crack open the can, the nitrous ball opens up and sinks to the bottom and releases all the nitrous into the beer.
Yeah.
And it's super duper good. I would heavily recommend it to you, like because they do have like normal just like cans of Guinness with nothing special about them. But if you ever see like the tall cans with the nitrous ball in them, I heavily recommend them. I think you would really like them because it makes it more creamy, like much more creamy. It's really good. So you're not much of a light beer drinker, right? Like you don't drink like. Budweiser or anything like that,
Oh
right?
no, no,
Good, good.
no,
What, you don't like drinking pee in a can?
no. I don't like drinking pee. Period. I mean, I know that's what they do at the orgies that you frequent, but I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was doing in Boston. I was at a 2-week orgy. So, cuz I get invited to those all the time. So, I had to make sure to mark down on my calendar going to Boston for a 2-week orgy. And it was just, 2 weeks of everybody peeing in each other's mouths during an orgy. So, that's kind of how it is sometimes. Get used to it. But I've had to turn down so many offers just simply because, it's hard to get tickets to these, pee and mouth orgies located in Boston. But this time I had the opportunity to do so. So I went ahead and booked a flight and got out there. I just used, visiting family as an excuse.
Right.
Yeah.
You go to you spend some time with your sister. You're like, it's fun, but I've got to let some Patriots fans pee in my nose.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you get it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not for me. It's not for me, but I'm not going to kink shame either.
Yeah, that's how the Budweiser's made. Like, everybody knows.
Oh, yeah. No. It's everybody just gargles and then spits.
Just want to say it's good to be back, brother. It's good to be back.
Oh, you don't want to hear. I tried a Bang energy drink recently. You don't want to hear my one-line review on that one.
Oh, yeah, I do. Why would you bring that up? Like, why would you bring that up and expect me to not want to hear what you have to say about it? Are you kidding? Tell me.
I mean, first of all, have you ever had a Bang energy drink?
I don't think I've ever tried Bang. That was popularized around the time that I stopped drinking energy drinks. So
yeah, so I tried one, and it tastes like what I imagine a queef tastes like from a porn star after she breaks a gangbang record, mixed with cotton candy.
I have so many questions about that statement that I can't even begin to figure out which question I should ask first. So, because you said you imagine a queef to taste like, right? So that means that you don't.
Well, no, I imagine what a queef tastes like after the breaking of the gangbang record.
Got it. So you do know what a queef tastes like then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't. I don't.
I mean, obviously.
I can't say that I've had the pleasure of having any lady queef in my face before. I can't say that that's ever happened to me.
I mean, you're just going down, like, if you're just working it, going down, like, going to town on it.
Uh-huh.
At some point, air gets trapped.
Sure, man.
And then it comes out.
Okay. I've had, so, you know how, like, my chest is indented, right? Like, you know about that.
Yeah, you have a concave chest.
Yeah. I actually have a very, like, the closest thing I can think of is I have a very vivid memory of being with a lady and getting our freak on. And basically while we were hot and sweaty and all over each other, there was a point where we, like, because of the gap in my chest, like, we stuck together for a moment and then separated, and it made, like,
a suction cup sound?
Yeah.
Aw, how romantic.
So, I mean, I don't know if that counts, but I can say that's the closest thing I could say to something weird. Because I even remember, like, when it happened, and we both, like, stopped in the middle of what we were doing, and we both just started laughing, like, really, really hard. So,
I mean, sometimes you just break flow. Sometimes you break flow at the beginning. Sometimes you break flow during the middle. Sometimes you do it at the end.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best if you do it at the end.
Well, I mean, we were still able to get our freak on afterwards, but we did have like a moment where we stopped and just like laughed for like a minute.
Well, I mean, that's good. I've sillied myself out of sexy time before.
I've I okay. I one time stopped in the middle of sex and told the girl that I was having sex with to shut up for a moment so that I could hear a brand new song that was airing on the radio by a band that I loved at the time.
Oh, rookie mistake, man.
I remember it because it was what was that band called? So do you remember?
Because you're a type of catcher, she's likely just to beat the shit out of you.
Oh, she didn't give a shit. Like okay. I've talked about it before. I was an asshole in high school. So like, you know, I didn't give a shit about anybody when I was in high school other than, you know, myself and my friends. And, you know, I was a little bit more, I know it's really surprising. I know to the audience and especially to you, it's really surprising. But yes, I was a piece of shit in high school.
No, not sweet, innocent Mr. Habanero. The thought of you being an asshole or a bit of a dick in high school, that's just plain yucky.
Yeah, it's yucky.
That's yucky.
That's yucky. But yeah, so I was having sex with this girl, and basically we had the radio on my favorite rock station. And I mean, we didn't really care what was playing. We were just, you know, having a good old time as teenagers do. And it was Serge Tankian's new band at the time. Do you remember that? I can't remember the name of what it was called. Do you remember when he went solo for a while?
Yeah, then he did something else.
Yeah. So it was when
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember the name of the band either. It didn't last very long, and it wasn't that great. It was like the music was okay.
But Serge, he's one of the most underrated vocalists of, you know.
Oh, he was great. Like, it's just like he had like maybe two or three great songs on the first like album. And it wasn't because it was a bad vocalist, it's because the music wasn't up to par with his vocals. And it's kind of sad to say that because I'm pretty sure that he performed all of the music, like, you know, all the instruments and the singing. Like, his singing was still amazing because that's what he's absolutely spectacular.
I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
Exactly. So like me and my girlfriend, you know, having a good old time, and the radio's playing, and all of a sudden I hear the like single come on, but like at that time, like what happened was the radio announcer was like, and now for the new hit single, we here at blah 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 radio have gotten like our hands on the new hit single where it's, you know, being played. This was like, you know, before internet was like releasing singles everywhere or whatever. So like radio stations still had opportunities to like premiere singles for the first time. And they're like, Serge Tankian's brand new single from his solo album. And it just started playing. And I literally like stopped in the middle of having sex with my girlfriend. She's like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? I'm like, shut up. I need to hear this. So like, I'm just like, we're just like still in position and everything. And I just had to like stop and like hear the music. And like,
oh, you stopped too?
Yeah. I was yeah, no, I wanted to hear it. I didn't want to hear anything else.
Like, muffle her with a pillow and keep going, but you stopped.
Yeah, because I wanted to concentrate on the new song. Don't you ever like...
You want to know how I know you're gay?
You mean you tell me that when like your favorite one of your favorite artists comes out with a new song that you've never heard before, you don't basically have, like, you were even telling me when we did a music episode not too long ago that there are times where your favorite songs come on and you literally have to stop everything that you're doing just so that you can fully appreciate and take in the music, right?
I've never said that.
You said something like that. I remember you said something like that.
Okay. But let's put this into context. I wasn't sexually active when I was doing that either.
Well, I had to stop everything and concentrate on the music, man. Because my priorities in high school were different.
I mean, no, I feel you, son. I'm just saying. I was just saying, asking, telling her just to shh, or like, a hand over mouth while, giving her the half hole.
No, I fully stopped. Like, I was like, I need to concentrate on this. And then when it was over, no, listen. Then when it was over, I went back to like doing what we were doing. And it was fine. It was fine. She didn't even say anything afterwards. Like, she wasn't upset. Like, she was, I could tell she was annoyed, like, when it happened. But by the end of it, like, it was fine. Like,
in kids these days, I suppose.
I guess. I don't know. But I do remember that. I do remember. I think it was called, like, wasn't the song, like, called, like, These Walls or something? Or These Bloody Walls or something like that? Do you know what
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. I can't remember either, but I do have a very vivid memory of that experience. So,
I mean, that's fine.
What were we talking about?
The Jetsons.
Oh yeah, man, the Jetsons. Did you know? Oh, were you about to say the same thing that I was about to say?
I don't know. Say what you're about to say.
That George Jetson was born in the year of 2022.
Yeah, I knew that. You want to hear something creepy about the Jetsons?
What?
Jane Jetson's canon age is 37. Judy, the oldest daughter, she's 16. That means Jane, when she got pregnant, was around 16 or 17. George Jetson's canon age is 7 years older than Jane.
Yeah, but
George was 24 when Jane was pregnant with Judy at 16.
I mean, like, yes, that's super, like, inappropriate, but, like, also think of the time period in which that, like, show was, like, written and made,
Yes, because pedophilia was acceptable in the 80s.
I think that they gave less of a shit about that kind of stuff, like, at that time. They weren't, like, fact-checking every, animator, scriptwriter, and all that shit back in those days. Like, I mean, there was some pretty interestingly up shows,
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
In that time period.
Writers just can't do math.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, like, Bad George, like, I feel that, but at the same time, like, it's like, yeah, but that time period was, like, kind of a screwed up time period anyways when they were writing that stuff, so they didn't give a shit. They weren't expecting us, like, to be fact-checking them and calling them out on it like we are now nowadays.
I understand. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, no one was expecting in the 60s or 80s to do the math on a children's cartoon show.
Right.
Until the children who grew up watching it were like, oh.
Do you think Hanna-Barbera expected Velma to be the hottest, like, girl in the Scooby-Doo group? Like, I don't think that was intentional. You know what I mean?
Are we trying to predict what Hanna-Barbera, like, who was Hanna-Barbera's waifu? No, of course not. Velma, she didn't expect Velma to be the thing, but kids these days just everything up.
Like, I mean, like Velma was like, I always feel like it's kind of interesting because Velma and Scooby Doo, like, you definitely get the impression that she was intended to be designed as the girl that like nobody really liked. You know what I mean? But like, her character had like the opposite like thing. Like, hell, even when I was a kid, even I thought Velma was hot. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, but
And nobody liked Daphne because Daphne's a bitch. Like,
I mean, people still like Daphne.
I guess. I mean, probably not as much as Velma though. I feel like Velma's probably got the higher popularity vote, right?
No, okay, so we grew up in slightly different times.
All right.
Like the Velma turning into a thirst trap is definitely something that happened in the 90s.
All right. I think it
When
has to do with her like
when
reserved nature, right?
well, the thing is the kind of girl that Velma was became kind of more sexualized in the mid to late 90s with somebody like Daria.
Daria?
Yeah, remember MTV Daria?
I didn't watch that stuff. No.
Okay.
I have no idea who that is or what that is.
I mean, Daria is basically teenage Velma.
What was she in? Like, was she a character? Is that the name of the actress?
Yeah, that's the name of the character. That's the name of the character and the cartoon that was on MTV.
The cartoon was literally called Daria?
Yeah, because the girl's name was Daria.
I've literally never heard of this in my entire life.
Yeah, it was like right there with Beavis and Butthead.
Really? Because I mean, like, here's the thing. I didn't. Oh, go ahead.
Daria Morgendorf. Daria was actually a spin-off of Beavis and Butthead.
Interesting. See, I watched Beavis and Butthead, but I never watched it on MTV. Like, I had to like go out of my way to watch Beavis and Butthead like when I was older. Like, I knew of its existence as a kid, but I was never allowed to watch it. And I ended up like watching it when I was like older, when I was like a teenager or whatever. But I never watched it on MTV. I think at that point I was watching it online somewhere for free or something like that. So,
but Daria was basically a Beavis and Butthead spinoff.
But it was like with ladies or something like that.
Well, it was. Okay, so imagine a misanthropic teenager.
I had to go and look it up. I've seen this character before, but I've never watched the show that she's in. But I recognize the character.
Yeah. So the misanthrope character, but with the librarian aesthetic,
like a hot, sarcastic, cold librarian kind of character.
Yeah. And then if you notice, like in more recent portrayals of Scooby-Doo and Velma, Velma has become more and more kind of like the misanthrope.
Yeah. She does.
Of the group.
This character, Daria, does kind of have that Velma look to her, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So this whole Velma being thirst trappable.
Yeah.
That's something that, I mean, something that happened in the mid to late 90s isn't recent by any stretch of the imagination.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, to say that nobody likes the redhead, damn it, name just escaped me all of a sudden.
Oh, Daphne?
Daphne, yeah, there we go.
I mean, I just always thought that she was less popular. Like that.
Up until about the late 90s, Daphne was the popular one.
Yeah.
Because she had the class, because she was running the classic definition of beauty.
Right.
But then as beauty standards shifted, Velma is the Velma has become the accidental popular one.
Right. You know, I always thought what was really interesting about Scooby-Doo, like I didn't understand it as a kid, but as I got older, I thought it was very interesting, was every one of the characters in Scooby-Doo is a complete, like, different polarized, like, stereotype, right? Like, I mean,
that's true for almost every cartoon that comes from that era.
But like, it's interesting because one of the things that I thought that fascinated me about it was how they're all friends. Like, they all get along and they all like kind of work together, and they have like their stereotypes like are contradictory to each other, but they, it helps them as characters work with one another in the long run. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I'm not trying to say that, Scooby-Doo is like this hyper progressive kind of story. It's definitely not, into like that smart of a show at all. Like, definitely not. But I just always thought that was kind of interesting how they wanted to like write a cast of characters that were all very, very different from one another, but they all like work together as a crew to solve like mysteries and stuff like that. And they kind of like, I don't know, being who they are in their separate categories as people, like, kind of helps them.
That was that opposites attract
yeah
thing that people tried to push really hard for like multiple decades.
Right.
That's why there's like a lot of these group characters of some like very like out there stereotypes, to where everybody's kind of sitting on a pole of like sitting well off on their own pole.
Right.
But everybody comes together. It was just kind of a general message that was really popular to tell in popular entertainment, pretty much from the 60s on, 60s forward.
Well, because like when you look at it, like other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like none of them function, like, not that I can really think of, not many of them have that same kind of style. And I think that also kind of contributes to why Scooby-Doo ended up being one of the most popular like Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Because I mean, I watched a few here.
It's a bit more subtle.
Yeah.
But the Jetsons. Now, granted, the Jetsons was supposed to be a trad family, but the two kids seemed to be like complete polar opposites of one another.
Do you mean like Bam Bam and oh wait, I was thinking Flintstones, sorry.
You're thinking Flintstones.
Yeah.
But I mean the Flintstones and Jetsons are basically the same show.
Relatively, yeah. It was Jane and Leroy, right? Wasn't his name Leroy? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, they didn't have much depth to them. They were like, Leroy was the annoying little brother who likes annoying little brother things. And Jane was the, teenager being a teenager girl, like, living her teenage life. Like, I don't feel like she had any specific, like, outstanding characteristics that made her... I felt like they just wanted to personify her as, like, a teenage girl, and that's all she was. Like, she didn't have any... Like, she wanted to do with... Mm-hmm.
Jane is the mother, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the... Judy. Was it Judy?
Yeah, as Judy.
Okay, that's my bad. I was thinking of Judy.
Yeah, no.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, for all you hardcore Jetsons fans out there, I didn't mean to mess that up and outrage you. That was my bad.
Right. But George, so Jane is a bit more reserved, kind of a trad wife, but when you're a child bride, I guess that it has to be that way.
You really are not going to let that go, are you?
Oh no, we're gonna call that one out.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Judy,
I get it.
Judy was like, the precocious teenager.
Yeah,
Which was in the 60s, kind of a representative of the rebellious youth of the the rebellious female youth.
Okay.
Of the late 60s, early 70s.
So like that implies that like she was divergent from like normal teenagers in the sense that, she was more rebellious, which made her stand out more as a character.
No, she wasn't. No, actually, she wasn't divergent of normal characters. She was divergent from her mother and father.
Right.
Like skewed way out to be kind of like that the precocious female youth, like the staple of the women's empowerment movement in the late 60s.
Right.
Elroy, on the other hand,
was it Elroy or Leroy?
Elroy.
I think you're right. I think it is Elroy.
It's Elroy.
Okay.
Elroy, on the other hand,
what kind of name is Elroy? Can I just I know that you're right now that you've said it. I know that you're right, but it's like,
what kind of name is Leroy?
But Leroy can be you can shorten Leroy to Lee. That's pretty.
Yeah,
I feel like
Elroy, and you can shorten Elroy to Roy.
Oh, is that where Roy comes from? I've literally never had that realization before, because I've heard of the name Roy before, but I've never thought to realize that it would be short for Elroy.
Yeah, it's Glenroy, Elroy.
Glenroy?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
just the weird shit Europeans named their kids.
I'm still waiting for my dream wife, Murgatroyd. That's what I'm waiting for. I want the name, the lady's name Murgatroyd, to come back into our lexicon. I want people to start naming their young girls Murgatroyd. So let's bring.
We need to see. We need to see a resurgence of Tiffany.
Tiffany, I've known some people named Tiffany.
I have, but it's fallen out of favor.
It's there's some really interesting names that I've heard lately that I feel like I've been seeing more and more of. One thing that I've seen is the lady's name Sky, and it's spelled in a ridiculous variety of names, ways. I've seen Sky with a double Y. I've seen Sky SKYE.
I've seen SKYE. I've seen that one.
Yeah. I once knew a girl named SKYY. Dead serious.
Sometimes your parents just can't spell and they have the birth certificate.
The father was wasted, and he's like, no, I meant that. That's what I meant.
Yeah, no, I've seen some random letters.
Yeah.
In the middle of a name on a birth certificate, and I was like, your parents drank, didn't they? Daddy was a bit of a drunk.
I used to have a very good close friend who had a very weird name. And I remember one time asking him, I was like, how did your parents come up with this name? Where did they get it from? Is it a special name that comes from, their nationality, or I don't know. And he said, oh no, it's okay. I can tell you. They were watching an episode of their favorite late night television show, and one of the people in the credits, the key grip, was named my name, and they liked it, so they named me that. I was like, all right, man.
It's better than my mom used to cry out this name while my dad was plugging her. And my name is, and I don't have the junior at the end of my name.
Rough. That's
Rough.
rough. That's rough. Oh man. So I'm sorry, we went on a tangent. What were you saying about Elroy before I had that realization that I have not like heard that name before?
So neither Jane and George
Mm-hmm.
are sold as incredibly smart.
Yeah, that's kind of like that's definitely part of the narrative. Like I've noticed that before. Yeah.
I mean, so they're very like Jane and George are very mid.
Mm-hmm.
They're very bland, they're very milquetoast, they're very traditionalist. Elroy is sold as a like idiot savant.
I was about to say, I thought I remember he's like a boy genius or something like that.
Yeah, he's a boy genius. So like the opposite attracts things is you have the practical pedo and his child bride,
right.
and then you have the precocious women's empowerment daughter,
right,
and the boy genius son.
I see what you're getting at. You're saying the children contrast the parents, and that's the catch.
Yeah, so the parents can't really contrast each other,
right?
Because that would be really unrelatable,
right?
If back in the 60s and 70s, if you had a mother and father who weren't basically the same person,
right?
So what you did was, in the children, you had them diverge.
Yeah.
The Flintstones, the same way.
I barely remember that show. I mean, like, I remember Fred was like, the whole thing was that like Fred. I remember Fred was kind of like, he was a bit of a jerk. Like, it wasn't like he was abusive, but he would like fly off the handle, and like the wife was like dealt with him, but she was like sassy. Like, she was sassy, right? Like, that was her thing.
Yeah.
So she was like not afraid to go toe to toe with her husband. Like, that was the whole.
Yeah. Instead of being an office worker, Fred Flintstone was definitely a factory worker.
He was I thought, was he a construction worker or?
I mean, they were pulling rocks out of a quarry.
Right.
So, but
he used to have the giant stegosaurus that would scoop rocks or whatever, right?
Yeah. He had that. So whatever passed for unskilled labor, is what Fred Flintstone did. You were led to believe George Jetsons was doing skilled labor. Fred Flintstone was unskilled labor, and
George Jetson was like an office drone, right? Like, that was the whole right.
Yeah, but back in the 60s and 70s, we were led to believe office drones, at the very least, had a college degree.
Sure.
Fred Flintstone's wife, whose name escapes me.
Betty was Barney's wife, right?
Yeah, Betty was Barney's wife.
Yeah.
Regardless, there was the Trad family, where the family wasn't middle, where the family was low middle class, whereas the Jetsons were kind of like, by 60s and 70s standards, middle to upper middle class.
Wilma!
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Like, Fred wasn't an asshole, he was just gruff. He was just the low middle class gruff factory worker.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, is like, he wasn't like abusive or anything. He was just like, he was kind of like an intense character, but that's what allowed him to get into like the silly situations, was because of his intensity.
Yeah.
So.
And then you had the Pebbles.
Yeah, little Pebbles. She was a cutie.
Yeah. You had Betty
I
and
thought the babies were super funny and cute when I was a kid. Like I liked
yeah,
them.
but Bam
That was
Bam
the point.
was the jock. Yeah, well, that was the point. Was the kids were cute, but even then, Bam Bam was kind of the jock, whereas the girl was the smart one.
Yeah, that's right. I remember she was a smart for a
Yeah,
baby. She was
yeah,
smart for a baby, I guess.
right. But that's kind of where but like that trope, but that kind of like people of like different people sitting on different poles coming together and working together is persuasive all throughout Hanna
Right.
Barbera. Like you could probably name a cartoon, and I could probably show where the personnel like stereotype, like a lot of these characters were incredibly stereotyped,
Okay.
like massively stereotyped for
What
for
was
their
that?
purpose.
What was that super awkward Hanna Barbera cartoon about the underwater like flute people? Do you remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
C Lab 2020.
No. That the one about the little alien sea monkey creatures with the noodles on their heads. Do you remember that? Do you know
No.
what? No? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna look it up because I watched this show as I was a kid, and I thought it was the most hilariously stupid thing I've ever seen.
So apparently having a core keeper episode.
We're having a Hanna Barbera episode. That's what we're doing. Snorks, the Snorks. I just
Oh,
looked it up.
those things. Oh,
Yeah,
those things.
the Snorks. I used to like. I remember being a small child and watching the show and being like, "This is stupid." Oh my god. It's the
I mean,
dumbest. It's the dumbest Hanna Barbera cartoon ever made.
I don't know. I think that still belongs to the Smurfs.
The Smurfs is better than the Snorks. Come on. Have you ever actually watched the Snorks? Have you ever watched this before? It was literally they wanted to.
Obviously not.
So if I remember correctly, the whole point was that because the Smurfs was popular, like that was like a popular thing, and I recall that the whole
Okay,
point was the Snorks was supposed to be an offshoot. Like they wanted to try and recapture what the Smurfs did.
Right. Right. It's just I kind of always remembered the Snorks being uh a bit more in depth than the Smurfs.
So I'm looking over a Wikipedia article real quick, and right off the bat, it says that at this time, like it basically has like the history of the show in sets of years, and they're talking about when the guy was pitching the show, and and basically what they say here is that the Smurfs was already a popularized cartoon, and this guy basically said we want to recapture the Smurfs audience with another series that's basically exactly like the Smurfs, but it's underwater people. So we pitched the Snorks. And they were like, hey, well, the Smurfs is successful, so let's do this one and see how it works out.
Oh yeah.
Uh yeah, they're basically like it says that
Basically the
they're
same.
yeah,
Basically the same.
they basically are like little underwater people with snorkels on their heads. They have like little noodle heads, and they have they're snorkels, so that's why they're called Snorks. And
Yeah, I remember this very like
it's
very
terrible.
minimally.
Don't ever watch it. It's terrible.
I mean,
But then again, so is the Smurfs, right?
right. I was about to say you grew up in the golden age of like
Cartoon television.
Saturday morning cartoons
Yeah.
and like after school cartoons and even like some before like the before school cartoons.
Right.
Like you grew up in the golden era of that. You had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I remember watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I've never been a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, I thought it was okay, but it wasn't my thing.
Wow.
I know. A lot of people are shocked when I say that.
Darkwing Duck.
Oh, come on. Everybody likes Darkwing Duck. You can't do that to
Okay.
me. Come on, man.
I mean, yeah, but do you?
Yeah, we used to watch Darkwing Duck. Are you kidding me?
Okay, there we go. Darkwing Duck, DuckTales.
I used to even watch like the old Transformers cartoon, and I was into that.
Right.
I used to watch Gargoyles. I loved Gargoyles.
Right. So what I'm getting at
I used to watch the old X-Men.
The stuff that you kind of cut your teeth on as an impressionable, 8 to 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Was the stuff that I got like in my late teens.
That's rough.
So I ate the Snorks. I ate the Smurfs.
You ate you hate?
Ate. Like, this is what we had to watch because this is the stuff that was being produced.
Sure.
Like
the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, the 80s. Like, so, like, that was, like, things like the Snorks, things like the Smurfs, that was the stuff that...
Jetsons, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, not, like, you guys had it better.
Yeah.
Like, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, anything by Disney during your early childhood.
Right.
Like, my thing... was Fraggle Rock.
Oh man, dude, Fraggle Rock is great. I used to watch that when I was a kid. Did you like? Well, it's probably harder when you're a teen, I guess, but
no, like Fraggle Rock is what I had to grow up with.
Oh, okay.
But let's just face it. Jim Henson wasn't really like that great. Like, Jim Henson shows were not really that great.
They're great when you're a small kid. Like,
we grew up from Sesame Street. See, we didn't watch Sesame Street unironically. We watched it because that's what was there.
Okay.
And then we grew up, and then when we graduated from Sesame Street, we watched Fraggle Rock.
Right. I mean, I liked that as a kid. Like, I enjoyed Fraggle Rock as a kid.
Something like the Muppet Babies blew our GD mind.
Yeah, Muppet Babies. That was an animated cartoon, though, wasn't it? It wasn't like puppets.
Blew our GD mind.
So it's actually kind of cool that we're talking about like really good cartoons, like really good old cartoons, because while I was in Boston, I had the chance to rewatch a cartoon series that I adore. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. Like, the show went on forever, and I didn't even finish season 1. It had like 5 seasons, and like I got into like episode like 35 of season 1. So like I didn't even finish it, but like I said, I watched like 35 episodes because I was surprised that this cartoon series was as good as I remembered it as a kid. Like, it wasn't like nostalgia goggles. This cartoon was actually still fantastic. Like, I would say that you could enjoy it as a kid or as an adult. Did you ever watch the old, like, Batman animated series? Did you ever see that? You did?
Yeah.
That show is so good. It's actually so good. Like, I decided, like, I found it. What happened was, while I was in Boston, my sister had like HBO, like the streaming service HBO, and they had access to, like, they had like a ton of basically like DC properties. Like, they had movies, and they also had all the animations, tons and tons of different DC stuff. But I was surprised that they had the old animated Batman series from like the 90s. And so I was like, you know what? I'm bored. Like, my sister and my brother-in-law would go to bed a little bit earlier than I was, and I was just looking for something interesting to watch. And so I would watch this series, and it is so good. Like, I would argue that the Batman animated series has
Oh,
the best Bruce Wayne. Like, not necessarily Batman, but the best Bruce Wayne.
oh, absolutely.
Like, because like there are a lot of like episodes of the show where the focus isn't so much on Batman, it's more focused on Bruce Wayne himself as a character, which I feel like, like a lot of the movies that we have now, like, I get it, like Batman's the focus, and like, like that's cool, like you want to see him going around fighting crime, doing the things, like, and I get that, because that's like what a lot of superhero stuff is. Like, you want to see the Cape Crusader going out there and saving the day, and that's chill. But it was really interesting watching the animated series and seeing Bruce Wayne himself living as the character Bruce Wayne. Like, they did there were multiple episodes of the animated series where they show you that he's best friends with Harvey Dent before Harvey Dent ever becomes Two-Face. Like, you get to see him, like, they have the whole original concept of Catwoman being also like a multi-millionaire lady, and she has a whole life as like a rich millionaire woman who is also dating Bruce Wayne on the side, as well as being Catwoman, who's madly in love with Batman. So like watching the characters, you know be themselves without wearing a costume in the animated series was really interesting. Like, like I feel like that's something that a lot of the Batman movies lack on. Like, they don't really personify Bruce Wayne himself as a character very well. And the animated series is so good. It's so good.
It's one of the better cartoons of all time.
Yeah. I was just so impressed by it.
This is how bad like cartoons were in like the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what was considered hot shit?
What?
Like in when I was a 6-year-old?
What?
The real Ghostbusters.
Because I remember there was like a Ghostbusters animated series. Is that what you're talking about, or do you mean the movies?
The real Ghostbusters, which was the original animated series before it was rebooted in the 90s and called Extreme Ghostbusters.
I recall that series was terrible.
Because Extreme Ghostbusters is bleh.
Yeah. I recall that.
Oh yeah, no, Extreme Ghostbusters was terrible.
Okay.
The real Ghostbusters also not very good, but we were so starved for like
entertainment,
action entertainment,
right?
That something like the real Ghostbusters was just like, oh, chef's kiss. Because 80s, like 70s and 80s cartoons are boring.
Well, a lot of it too is that during that time period, they were still trying to like figure out how to do animation cheaply and efficiently, which is actually like going back to
I don't know.
Well, so
I don't know. I think because it wasn't like there wasn't a dearth of content,
right?
Just the opposite. I mean, something would get popular, and then you would have like three clones of it,
right?
Like, the Transformers gave us GoBots, He-Man gave us Thundercats.
Oh, I remember Thundercats. I actually liked that show when I was a kid. I was really into it.
My Little Pony gave birth to so many different things. It's not funny.
I'm dead serious when I say this. I have never, ever seen a My Little Pony cartoon. Ever. I've seen like clips and I've seen advertisements, but I've never actually watched any version of the My Little Pony show. I've never seen a whole episode of that show at any time period in my life.
I mean, I don't know. I guess the gummy bears weren't too bad.
The gummy bears? I think I remember that. I have seen Care Bears before. I did watch that for a short amount of time when I was a kid. Um, I
I mean,
remember.
Care Bears was literally born out of My Little Pony.
That's interesting.
Like, as I said, My Little Pony birthed so much,
Yeah,
including the gummy bears.
right. I get that. I just think it's interesting how I've never seen like an episode of My Little Pony before, and I'm not going to go out of way. I'm not even going to try. Don't even tell me that I need to see it. I won't watch it.
I
Um,
mean, are you a brony?
I no,
Okay,
I've
well then
never
don't
seen
watch.
it. Like
Well
so,
then
I
don't watch My Little Pony.
okay, good talk. But what my point was is that I've never seen My Little Pony ever before, like not even by accident. But I have watched Care Bears, which, like you just now said, is an offshoot of My Little Pony.
Yeah, yeah,
Like it rides on the success of My Little Pony, I assume. So
yeah. My Little Pony is good for one thing and one thing only: Derpy Hooves.
Derpy Hooves.
Yeah. So the Korean animation studio released a um, animation error
Okay.
called Derpy Hooves because the animators couldn't get the eyes to line up, didn't have make sure the eyes were lined up right. So it had derp face.
Like are the eyes like pointed in opposite directions or something?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. So Derpy is now and if and the fans and the bronies love Derpy so much that Derpy became an actual character.
I was about to ask if it's canon now.
It is 100% canon.
Awesome. Good job, My Little Pony. Proud of you. Proud of you.
Yeah, way to appease 4chan.
Man, you know, I was actually really like that was something I was thinking about is how like I mean not to completely take this in a totally different direction. I swear I'll bring it back, but I think it's interesting how 4chan has had its fingers in interesting places of pop culture. You know what I mean? Like in other words, like their influence has caused pop culture to sway in certain ways. You know what I mean? Um, One of the ways that I was thinking about this was I'm back into playing Minecraft obsessively. I'm sorry, I love it too much. I'm playing it
I mean,
obsessively again.
I've seen you. I opened up Discord and saw
Yeah,
you playing all that Minecraft
yeah,
and
nonstop.
none of that Core Keeper.
Uh huh. So the core keeper, huh?
Yeah,
Core
Core
keeper. Yeah.
Keeper's dead. Core Keeper's dead.
Oh no. I mean, so there's actually what I was going to say was I was surprised to find out when I was looking up and learning some history about Minecraft, 4chan actually had a ton of influence on why Minecraft is the way that it is today. And I was
Oh
really
yeah.
surprised to find that out because originally I found out just out of curiosity and doing a little bit of research on my own, just for funsies. Notch originally pitched his Minecraft design to 4chan. Like he opened it up to 4chan to get reviews on what people thought about it. So like he was sending it out, he was posting like links to download it and try it out on VG of 4chan. And he would
Yep.
have like open discussions about it and like listen to people like review it, talk about it, give their opinions. And I was super surprised to find out how much of the game changed specifically because of advice he was taking from 4chan specifically before he released it like publicly all over the place. I thought that was super interesting. Um, but Oh yeah. So the thing I was going to say about Core Keeper was there's actually a channel that I follow that is relatively large, and he plays Core Keeper on a regular basis. I don't watch all of his videos about Core Keeper, but I've watched a few of them, and they're pretty good. And he highlights a lot of like the big changes and stuff like that. So um, it's probably not totally dead. It's probably just kind of going through like a rough
No,
period right now.
no, I didn't mean that for like in public. I mean, it's got its million players, whatever. It did its thing.
Oh, okay.
I meant to you.
Oh, I will come back to it. I will. I
Uh
will.
huh.
I will. Everything comes. Games come in waves for me. That's kind of how it goes. That's kind of how I've always been. What happens is I get involved in a game and I get obsessive. Like I play it nonstop. And then I fall out of it, and then I come back to it again and be obsessive again. And like that's kind of like my cycle of things. Is like I kind of
You didn't spend nearly that much time on a core keeper. You didn't obsess hardly any.
well, here's one thing. Here's one thing that I will say is one of the things that was constantly bearing on me about Core Keeper is literally the fact that it's not Minecraft. Like a lot of survival building games, like survival crafting games, that I try out, I basically say to myself a lot of the time, like I'm like, I could be playing Minecraft. Like this is like a lesser version of Minecraft. A lot of the time. Like it's like I'm playing The Forest. Forest is the lesser version of Minecraft. I'm playing what is that game called? 7 Days to Die. Lesser version of Minecraft. I'm playing Core Keeper. Lesser version of Minecraft. I'm playing Valheim, lesser version of Minecraft. Like I'm playing Raft, lesser version of Minecraft. Like it's like cuz it's like I mean, I know that you have a hard time with Minecraft. I know that you're not a big fan of it, but it's like the ultimate building survival game. Like and I was thinking about this too was that it's one of the only games where absolutely everything that surrounds you except for like a couple of things, like maybe two or three things, everything around you is destructible and can be repurposed for something. So like a lot of other games that are Minecraft style, like survival crafting, like it feels like it's like we want to be Minecraft. Like, you know, like we want to be Minecraft. We want to be that Minecraft. And it's like nothing can quite beat it, you know? Like nothing can quite beat it. And it's like you're going to have to go through a lot of time and a lot of development and like many, many, many updates to be up to that quality, you know? So, like, for example, here's something that I was thinking about because my sister got involved with it. She was talking to me about it a lot. Is my sister and my brother in law are very, very into uh, No Man's Sky. Yeah, have you played that at all or anything like that?
Yeah, I played it when it first came out
Okay.
when it wasn't really a game.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because that's when I played it as well. So, I mean, knowing that you've had that first impression, which is also the same relative first impression that I had with No Man's Sky, it's kind of like I'm done with this because it's not really a full game, right?
Right.
So, what's really interesting is No Man's Sky has been out for about 6 years now. 6 years. And it has recently gotten a major popularity resurgence. It is like very, very popular right now. Like I've actually seen a lot of people making videos about it. A lot of people are streaming it now, and it's got a huge following. And
Yeah,
they've had. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, they took the 2 years it's taken to and actually built a game into it.
Exactly. So like No Man's Sky has had 6 years of development at this point, and it's a full game that has a lot fleshed out. It's got a lot of mechanics. It's kind of become its own thing. And I think that like when it comes to survival crafting games, like Minecraft has been around since I think what is it like 2008, I think. It's been around for a very very long time. And the thing is that like No Man's Sky has kind of become what it's become because it's now officially had approximately about 6 years worth of development. It has like way more mechanics, it has way more depth, it has all these like different things that make it fleshed out into a much more interesting game that, has intrigue and can bring an audience back and be interesting. And I think that that's kind of like the thing about survival crafting games in general. Like Minecraft is an amazing game because it's been around basically longer than any other survival crafting game. So it has tons and tons of work put into it, and it's got tons and tons of mechanics, and it's just well designed overall. And like there's other games that are, survival crafting games that are getting there. They're growing up and becoming much better, well-designed games. But it requires tons of time, like for updates, mechanics, new forms of gameplay, like, different kinds of, player interactions, like different kinds of NPCs, what kinds of mobs, like what, items you can collect, what do they do, like how do they function? Like that takes years and years and years of development. So like I've kind of like realized that survival crafting games, like when they first come out, they're kind of really difficult to play because they're very bare bones. And like, and it comes down to, like I said, like I'm playing like a survival crafting game. I could be playing Minecraft because it's been around forever and it has all that stuff. But like, for example, I bet that my whole point that I'm trying to make here is I bet Core Keeper will be an absolutely spectacular game. I think it's still great. Like I actually already think it's a really great game. But I think it'll be absolutely over the top spectacular given, say, another 5 years for more progress, more development. And that's rough because you have to hope that the developers are in it for the long haul. You know what I mean? So, because I remember you were telling me that you were worried that at one point that the developers were going to bail and leave the players hanging, but they've been trying to keep up with it, right?
I mean, yeah, as long as the numbers are there.
Yeah.
As long as the numbers are there, I just don't know if their current release cadence, because I mean they have a roadmap,
right,
for at least 3 more major releases. The problem is if their cadence isn't more than 6 months per major release, they're gonna get forgotten.
Yeah. I think that at this point, survival crafting games kind of have the roughest time, like surviving, because of what I was just explaining. They need more time.
Yeah, it's just I mean, it's the WoW thing all over again.
Yeah. Like, in other words, like everything is living in World of Warcraft's shadow. That's what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's what do you offer players that they don't have in World of Warcraft, or in this case Minecraft.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you 100%.
To your point, you're like, you look at Core Keeper and you're like, man, I could be playing Minecraft. Whereas me, I like Core Keeper exactly because it's it's somewhere in that happy medium between Minecraft and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I could see that. But then again, also, I've never been super big into Animal Crossing, but it's mostly because I've never really played it heavily. So I've always wanted to try to get into Animal Crossing, but I've never really had the proper opportunity to do it. Maybe I should see if I could find a used copy on, like, for a D. They had one for like the DS, right? didn't they?
I believe, yeah,
I'll have to see if I can find like a
I
used
believe,
copy.
yeah, I believe New Leaf was a DS game.
I bet it's expensive as hell. Fun fact, Nintendo DS games are now technically antiques. So they're very difficult to acquire.
I don't know. Oh, I see. New Leaf was a 3DS game.
That's fine. I mean, because I have a 3DS, so well, it's a
Oh, okay,
2DS that it's a 2DS that
right.
does 3D. It's the uh,
Yeah,
last generation.
yeah. You can get New Leaf. You can get New Leaf for $27 on Amazon.
Really? I'm down
Yeah.
for that. Is it a legit copy or is it like a Chinese like copy? Like, like a fake one?
Uh, it's being sold by the Nintendo store.
Okay. Well, then there you go. Then maybe I will. I'm surprised that that game is not more expensive. That's actually really surprising to me. I have bought some like Nintendo DS and 3DS games that cost me like a small fortune because they're very rare and, like I said, antiques. Um,
Right. Right.
yeah. Well, like Pokemon games are like near impossible to get your hands on anymore. Um, I was lucky to like buy, like I still had my old copies of some of my games, but I've had to rebuy a few of them, which really
I
was
bought
annoying.
Xavier, even though I kind of wanted him to wean him up because he has concentration issues.
Right.
So having like a Switch, 2DS, well, he actually inherited his stepfather's 3DS,
Mm,
um, and an iPad. I just thought was possibly way too many screens for him to just be just to have to juggle around.
right. I get that.
So I was trying to get him like off of his 2DS, but it just no uh to no avail. And for his birthday, I bought him Alpha Sapphire.
Nice. Man, I feel like I mean, I feel like that was the last great Pokemon game. Like Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. I feel like those were like I mean, I know that you're still a Pokemon fan and that's totally okay. I'm
No, no,
not
no.
here
I'll agree.
to,
I'll agree with you. Like,
okay.
I
Thank you.
mean, they're essentially uh, Emerald remakes in the XY engine,
Mhm.
and and I'm actually kind of crazy, and I didn't think XY was that bad of a game. Actually, my soon-to-be wife um, purchased Pokemon X
Okay. All
for his
right.
birthday, so he's got some more DS games. So he's got some 3DS games.
Right. I mean, I don't hate X and Y. I want to make that clear. I don't hate those games, but the reason why I don't hate them is because I've literally never played them. X and Y came out when I was in my off period for Pokemon, where I was like, I'm not playing Pokemon. I'm good. I don't need to buy these games. Um, I came back for Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire specifically. Um, but I mean, I've heard good stuff about X and Y. Like, I just don't know because I've never played them and I've never really wanted to go and return and play them. Uh, I wanted to replay Platinum, but I don't have Platinum anymore. And buying a new copy of Platinum is the price of an arm and a leg. So I will probably never play Platinum ever again. Um, I still have Soul Silver, which is really nice. Um, love that game. That one was great. But yeah. Yeah, I really liked Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then that got me hyped up for Sun and Moon. And then I was done because I thought Sun and Moon were terrible. So I was like, I'm done. I'm over it.
Sun and Moon were pretty bad. Uh, the Ultra Beast content that was added into Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, kind of, kind of salvaged it a little bit. But the problem is the changes to the um gym challenge that the this is not a gym challenge, but it's really a gym challenge.
Yeah, because they can't ever break that formula. They never will. Like, that's just how it is.
Right,
like,
but I'm just saying. I think they broke it, but for the worse.
Right.
Like after going through the island, the Kahuna trials, I was like, man, it would have just been easier just to have a gym.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that game was like, that was Sun and Moon was just like, I didn't even buy, I wasn't interested in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like, I literally thought that the first Sun and Moon game was so bad that I was just like, I'm just done. I don't even like it. I was literally like, I don't even want to do it anymore. I'm over it.
Yeah, I got 2 gyms deep into Sun and quit playing, and sold off my 3DS.
Yeah.
And then Xavier became a Pokemon fan, so I bought him Ultra Sun, and he seemed to like it. So,
Okay. I mean, it's like, the thing is too, like, I was trying to say, like, if people still like Pokemon, that is awesome. Like, I mean, I can appreciate that. I don't want to like Pokemon is definitely something that I don't want to like yuck the yum of other people. Cause like I'm like, the reason why I say that is because I'm actually jealous that, people can still be that way. Like, if you are genuinely a Pokemon, like, if you still enjoy Pokemon, I'm jealous that you still have the ability to do that. Like,
I like Pokemon now,
right?
Because the co-op experience is something that actually is entertaining,
right?
Like if the tacked on co-op experience was for Sun and Moon, and they're actually, I mean, for Sword and Shield, and they're actually bringing it back in Scarlet Violet. They just announced.
Mm-hmm.
They just rebranded it slightly, but it's the same. It's the same deal.
Okay.
If it wasn't as entertaining, if it wasn't as fun to get together with Pink and Maz and another one of Pink's friends and just run around and just do raid and just do raid dens together,
right?
While talking shit on Discord. I don't think I would have had nearly as much fun in Sword and Shield as I did. Outside of playing, of course, with Xavier and everything. But because the co-op experience is still there, I'm definitely going to end up buying 4 copies of Scarlet Violet when it comes out in November.
Oh, I see. I assume like 2 for you to play and 2 for Xavier?
1 for me, 1 for Xavier, 1 for Courtney, and 1 for Courtney's daughter.
Oh, okay. I did not. I thought maybe Courtney was part of that, but then I was like, I don't think Courtney's daughter is a fan of Pokemon. But then again, I don't know. So
she's not as big.
Okay.
But if it's given to her, she'll definitely play it.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
And maybe she was the one. Her and Courtney really didn't like raid dens, but now that we're all living together, now that we're end up all living together.
Mm-hmm. Once again, congratulations, by the way. Just going to go ahead and say that because I don't think I said it already.
I mean, I guess your listeners don't know either.
Yeah. He's getting married.
Yep. Finally, we're doing the thing. I finally got tired of the bullshits of home ownership. Got a sucker to buy my house.
Nice.
She's selling her house, and we're gonna rent an apartment together, and we're gonna get married about a month afterwards.
Yay! Congratulations! Woo! The Lettuce family.
So I'm no longer a free agent mother.
Bruh.
Sorry, ladies. This one's off the market.
Sorry, ladies. except for the one I'm actually engaged to.
Right. No, no more. It's all done. Get out of here, all of you.
It's I am a spoken for man now.
There you go, man. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you. Really happy for you.
Proud of me.
Proud of you and happy for you. You did it, man. You did it.
I did it. I convinced yet another woman to sleep with me.
God only knows how that happened. I'm just kidding.
Pity.
Hey, man. Well, you're doing better. You have a better track record than me at this point. So, you know what?
Yeah.
In all honesty, good for you, dude. Legit.
I mean,
proud of you, man.
I mean, the naked man could probably work for you too.
The naked man? What is that?
Yeah, the naked man, where you just like she walks out of the room, you strip down naked like you're Deshaun Watson.
Okay. And you're just like, are we doing this?
And you just put it out there, and she's either gonna yay or nay it. I go for the midget play.
Oh,
go
man.
for some pity, and
I can dig it.
I get the yay, you get the shock and awe.
I can dig it, man. You, I mean, it legit sounds like it works out for you. So you know what? Awesome. I'm still alone, but I actually, you know what? I will say this after, well, hold on. I will say this after my vacation in Boston, I actually feel a lot more okay with just being who I am and doing what I'm doing. So until the next super intense wave of horniness hits me, where I feel like I'm going to die alone and everything is sad and awful, I'm doing okay, man. I'm feeling pretty good, like legit. I'm feeling okay.
I mean, we get some really good content out of your thirstiness.
I am a thirsty boy. I am a very thirsty boy. By the way, ladies, I'm accepting girlfriend applications. Hit me up. Slide into my DMs, ladies.
He's a catch. He's yummy.
But yeah, no, I had a really good time in Boston, and it actually legitimately helped me clear my head on some things. So I was really like I said, I was really happy to kind of spend time with I think that was something that was a big deal for me. Was seeing my family, seeing my sister, I explained to my sister, because I did some pretty cool things while I was in Boston. But I actually spent a lot of time in Boston just being at home, spending time with my sister and my brother-in-law. And that was such a big deal to me. That was so big. There was even I remember at one point my sister was like, hey, I'm sorry that we couldn't get out and do something every single day. Cause my sister and my brother-in-law, they still had to work and they still had to live their lives. And they did their best to take some time off to spend time with me, but they still had to work and do stuff. And so I remember my sister was telling me, she's like, hey, sorry, we couldn't go out and do tons and tons of things together that were super fun. And I was like, in all honesty, the best part of this trip was just spending time with you guys, even if it was super mundane. We had multiple nights, multiple days where we literally just sat around the house and just watched movies and hung out and, watch streams or videos of content creators. And we were literally just being lazy on the couch multiple days while I was out on that trip. And it was just so nice just being around my family. I needed that so bad because I don't.
I mean, my apartment's going to become a de facto LAN party.
Yeah, man, that's exciting.
Yeah, me, my wife, my stepdaughter.
Yeah, family, dude. It's a big deal. And
gotta play some. You don't know Jack.
Dude, that sounds really fun. That game's cool.
With a 14-year-old.
that. Okay, man. All right, man. Don't get too excited about that concept.
Well, I have to be on my best behavior.
Yeah, man. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, no,
It's all good. It's all good.
no, I mean, I mean, I avoided bad contact before. I could do it again.
I think it's funny that isn't your stepdaughter taller than your soon-to-be wife?
Significantly too.
That's so good. I remember you telling me in the story you had to like mentally remind yourself it's the shorter one. It's the shorter one.
No, it was more like, oh dear God, she's taller. Hit the brakes. Because I was mere inches away.
Oh man, you'll be fine. I trust you, man. You're a good dude, and you have control over that. I know you.
Yeah.
You. And I mean, like we've talked about our opinions on child safety and stuff like that. Like,
oh yeah, no, I'm all about that child safety, but
accidents happen.
No, not even accidents happening. It's just defeating the urge.
The preventative.
Well, no, it's just like we're playing Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Or something, or Smash Brothers. And like, I'm just going to like lay it into her and it'd be like, I beat you like I'm about to beat into your mom.
I remember you telling me that.
And then walk off.
You're going to have to put the brakes on your shit talking, bro. It's like when like if you're playing like a competitive like fighting game or something like that, and like you want to get the shit talking on, and you're like, okay, I have to be super careful.
Man, I pounded you like I'm about to pound your mom. BRB.
Or like you lose and you're like, I got better shit to do, like your mom. Oh
yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love it.
We're playing Mario Golf and she's tried to line up her putt and I whispered in her, I just teabagged your mom.
And she liked it.
And then she takes and then she goes, yeah, I saw.
Oh man, that's like creepy on a whole different level, bro. Oh god. Oh man. The poor kids.
But I'm excited. It's a nice apartment and we're getting enough proceeds from the house sales so that we could like afford like new furniture.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is the first time either one of us have ever had like a new couch.
Nice.
Like a really good new couch.
Right.
And the living room is and unlike a lot of apartments, the living room is actually big enough to where you could have like a big couch.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
So we've got like a big couch that folds out into a queen sofa sleeper.
Dude, that sounds so nice.
With the chase. So it's like almost a king.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm
your body is ready.
Yeah. It's a pretty decent sized apartment for what we're paying for it.
Dude, that's legit.
Gonna have a actual office,
mm-hmm.
Which might allow for like face content,
right?
So we might try to do one of these podcasts, video wise, so you can see our beautiful faces.
Ooh, spoiler alert! That's right, we were talking about that, weren't we, buddy?
Yeah. No, it's. Once I think I have a decent enough recording space.
Yeah.
Like I'll get a camera and really nice just like a backdrop that doesn't look so nasty or
Tiny
like too
down.
busy or just like too busy.
Yeah, yeah. That'd be fun. I'm kind of down.
Yeah,
Like
no.
we'll just do one as an experiment just to see what it's like, and if we like it, we'll
Yeah.
we'll improve on it. And if it works out, we'll see if we can do it regularly. I'd be down for that.
I
But
mean,
it'll
I would promise maybe being able to stream more, but we both know
Ooh.
that's not that we both know that's not going to happen.
Come on, dude. We know you don't make actual content. Get out of here.
Yeah, no.
Link in the description below for Lettuce's
N-
channel.
Not a channel.
Oh man.
Uh we'll see. I mean, I'll see. Can't make any promises on that one, but cuz work is going to try to kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're actually pretty cool about this whole move thing, and they're going to try to accommodate it.
That's good. That's
But
good.
but that does not stopping them from trying to put it into me before I move.
Okay. The fear. Are they trying to put the fear of God into you before you move?
I mean, funny considering who I work for. No, no.
You're right.
Ah, um, what's gonna? I work for Spirit Hollywood, guys.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I decide that I'm going to do this, and I kind of set a time frame, and then all of a sudden, like this next month is just going to try to put as much on my plate as possible.
Right.
So like I have to um like actual like I'm not going to have like enough downtime to like do things to make moving easier,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like what I wanted to do.
Right.
So now I get to try to do all this and move at the same time. And the next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. I mean, moving is always like ridiculous. It gets crazy and spooky. Like, for example, I was also going to tell you if you need to take some time off to get all your stuff situated for moving, it's not a problem, because
Well,
it's
good news.
it's
Good news is the stipulation of my sale
right.
is anything that I kind of leave in the house kind of stays with the house.
Right. Right.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff that's abandoned, mostly because there's a lot of stuff that A needs to be abandoned. B, we're putting two people's worth of stuff into one apartment.
Mm-hmm. And that's rough.
So
Yeah.
so we're both having to be on the abandoned plan,
Mm-hmm.
and she has a little bit less that she can let go of than I can. Me, there's very little I give actual a fuck about.
Right. Right. I mean, you were
So
telling me about that before. Like, I get
yeah,
that.
oh yeah, no. Like there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm just going to walk away from, and I'm kind of glad for the opportunity to do so.
I gotta say, I'm impressed that you have the power to do that. Like, there's so many things in my apartment that I'm like, I can't let go of this. Like, I love having all this stuff that I have. Like,
Oh yeah, no. There's a lot of stuff here that I just have no emotional attachment to.
yeah, yeah.
A couple of crates full of electronics.
Mm-hmm.
Almost no furniture, very little clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. As I said, furniture wise, we're buying all new furniture, all new washer, dryer, stuff like that.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah, I'm a
oh, yeah.
goddamn pack rat, so
I sold off
too
my
much
magic.
shit.
I sold off my magic collection last week,
Yeah, you're
or at
telling
least
me. That's good.
the remnants of it.
Uh-huh.
It is. I now own not a single
Bruh.
magic card.
Very I thought you said that there were a couple of small things you were keeping from Magic.
No,
You literally got rid of all of it?
yeah,
Wow. I'm legit impressed.
yeah, no, all of it just gone.
You're dunzos then for Magic.
Oh yeah, I am, for the third time in my life, dunzos with magic.
Wow. I'm impressed. Like, I mean, I've always been the person, like, for example, like, I'm done with Magic, but I don't have the heart to get rid of my cards. Like, I've literally, like, a very large portion of my Magic collection I've had since childhood. Like, that's very
Yeah,
difficult for me to let go of.
but the couple of $1,000 that I got, that's going to pay deposits. That's going to turn on utilities. That's going to do a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Help
Responsibilities and all that.
help me put a down payment on a new car.
Right. I get that. I get that.
Because had to get a bigger car, because now it's not just me and a little guy. It's
You had to buy a family car.
had to buy a family car. So bought a fairly expensive family car.
Nice.
Probably a little bit too expensive, but I was like, screw it. If I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to get some stuff I've always wanted.
Sure. I get that.
No more putting my key in the ignition like a goddamn pleb.
You buying like a Tesla?
No, it was a new Nissan Rogue.
Hey, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Got everything I wanted except for the moonroof.
All right. I can dig it. Oh.
Yeah. Next couple weeks are going to be very touch and go for me.
That's okay.
The last week in August, or actually that first week in September, I'm probably not going to be able to record at all.
Yeah. I did want to say, like, also because we're probably going to be wrapping up shortly here. For anybody who didn't, realize what was going on, first of all, in case it wasn't already obvious, I was on a 2-week vacation. So 2 weeks gone. And then on top of that, we basically, like, we skipped like a few days as well, because it was a combination of both me and Lettuce were sick. So that's why this podcast is coming out late. Yeah. So I was actually very sick yesterday. I think I got food poisoning yesterday. I feel better now.
Hey,
but
did you cook your steak?
I have actually, what's funny? I have not had my steak yet. I was planning to make it after this podcast. So I'm having a late night steak.
Oh man. Like, you'll have to like tell me on Discord how it goes, man.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited for it. But also, it was rough being able to we had to stop the podcast for a couple of weeks basically, and a few extra days as well. And then also, like Lettuce said, it might be a little rough for us to record more of the podcast because he in particular is going to be very busy. So, we can't guarantee a podcast every single week for probably the next, couple of months.
Oh, no. I mean, I'll be fine. I'll be fine after the first week of September.
Okay. So then there you go. So it might be rough for the rest of this month of August. We'll do our best, but we might not be able to get another podcast out as actively as we did before until after the first week of September. So that's kind of how it's going to be for a little bit. But the imaginary boys are not dead. They're not dead. They're here. They're here for you, for your sweet, tasty little ears to lick upon.
Feet.
Did you say feet?
I said feet.
You said feet. Like licking feet? Like ears and feet? Licking ears and feet?
No, just not ears. Ears is weird.
But licking feet is okay.
Bruh. I suck toes.
Okay, so something that I learned as a teenager, and I learned this very early as a teenager, and then it carried with me all the way into adulthood, and I still do it when I have the chances. When I'm having sexy time with my lady, I nibble on her earlobes. Is that something you do?
Oh yeah. I mean, nibble on the earlobes. Gently blow across the neck. I
don't think I've ever really done that, but I always during sexy time give a little nibble on the earlobes. I think that's a really sexy thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, that's a tried and true movement.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, it's just because you said like no ears, toes only. So I was like, wait a minute, what about
Okay, so
earlobes?
it's licking ears, like sticking tongue in ear hole, like when you say licking ears, like nibble earlobe is fine. Licking ear means ear gets inside, like tongue gets inside ear canal.
Yeah. Wait, you mean you
And,
don't do that?
no, that's where earwax is.
I'm kidding, man.
Dude, that's worse than that's worse than eating ass.
There's nothing wrong with eating ass. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, no. Like, I mean, there is nothing wrong with eating ass, but people will tell you not to. But people probably will tell you not to eat ass, and because of a certain outbreak of a certain
Clerks.
Yeah.
Clerks was the one that says you never go ass to mouth.
Well, I mean, that's true. You never do go ass to mouth.
But then you have the what is it? The girl character in Clerks 2 who's like, well, sometimes you just go ass to mouth, and sometimes it's okay,
Okay.
Don't you remember that in Clerks 2, where like
no,
like
I remember it.
I always love it because they're very firm about you never go ass to mouth, and then the one chick is like, well, sometimes like you do it, like it's okay. It's one of my favorite parts of that movie. Okay, so I'm sorry. Like, yeah, go for it. Ass to mouth. What's butt cheeks to face? What are we doing?
I don't know. I'm done.
All right. Well, you know what? We should. This seems like ass to mouth, butt cheeks to face. I think this is a good time to wrap it up. I think we've said the most important things here. So, so I'm going to say all the wonderful things, unless there's anything else you want to input, Mr. Lettuce.
No, I think I'm good.
All right, man.
I think I said what I needed to say. I
think you did too. I think we're good on that level. So, all the wonderful things that I always say. Check in the description below for all the wonderful links. PayPal, Streamlabs, all those goodie links. All donations are appreciated. Thank you to the wonderful Patreon members. You know who you are. I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your love and support. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell us about what you think about the Hanna Barbera legacy, because that was a major topic we talked about. So tell us what you think about that. Do you think Velma's hot? I think Velma's hot. Anyways, do all those wonderful things.
Do you like children? Do you like child brides?
No, dude, no. Anyways, thank you guys all so much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. I legit forgot the closing line. It's been too long. It's been way too long. Anyways,
maybe just invent a new one.
Just invent a new closing line. Yeah. And I just remembered what it was. It literally just came to me because I was like, okay, I need to come up with the Imaginary Boys line on the spot right now. A new one, invent a new one. And I literally just came up with the old one, which is, we have been the Imaginary Boys. Good night, everyone.